Here's how bad first touch will affect your whole 90 minutes. The way we set the tones in the game starts with how good your first touch is. Especially the first ball you receive when the game starts. Let me ask you this, your game just started and you received the first ball and your first touch was terrible. How do you think this will impact the rest of the game? Good first touch dictates your options in the game. Basically, the better your first touch is, the more options you're gonna have after you receive the ball. But the most important part is when you first time receive the ball in the game. That really determines how your game is gonna go. The common mistake many players make when it comes to the first touch is just you thinking of killing the ball in front of you.
Yes, killing the ball is a solid foundation of a good first touch, but circumstances will change and you're gonna need to adapt.
A good first touch might mean that it's a first touch pass or it's a first touch shooting. So it all comes with your foundation, with how you can control the ball. There are many different methods to your first touch. You can use your inside of your foot,
Which is usually a great way to quickly change direction with a single touch.
you can use the outside of your foot,
Works great if you're planning to do body feint to fool the defenders behind.
you can use your thigh, or you can use your chest.
Thigh and chest controls are usually good options if you want to shield the ball in front of you.
It's obviously not limited to this. You can get creative with it. But first you have to master the fundamental of having a good first touch. But a good first touch always starts with a good balance.
If you have a good balance, you'll feel more comfortable and confident because this usually means that you're solid to the ground and it's gonna be hard for opposition to push you around.
And to be able to achieve a good balance from your first touch, first you have to shield the ball in front of you. Shielding the ball will give you the understanding of how you can kill the ball, how you can time and anticipate the ball's move towards you. Then once you master the simple shielding, now you can focus on turning with the ball.
You must understand the basics of turning with your first touch. When and where not to turn, or how close the defenders are to you, or are you getting any help from your teammates. This is all gonna change the circumstances, whether if you should turn with the ball or not.
Most common mistake that players struggle with when it comes to first touch is the hesitation. So when you hesitate, what happens is you're inviting the opposition and now you're putting yourself under more pressure.
Because the hesitation is uncertainty. Personally, I can spot when someone is hesitant very easily, and I'm pretty sure the opposition can sense this too. So they're gonna come tighter to you and probably not allow you to have an easy touch or turn. Basically, it will affect the whole sequence.
Best way to deal with this situation is to get away from the opposition. So you need to get close to where the ball source is coming from, whether to your teammate or whoever has the ball, and you want to get yourself close to the ball to receive the ball. So first you're getting away from the pressure behind you. Now at least you're mentally more comfortable about receiving that ball because you don't have as much pressure right behind you. And the second mistake is the failure to anticipation. But how can you improve your anticipation if you're working to improve your first touch? So this is when practice comes into play, because the more you practice, the more you'll understand how fast that ball is gonna travel towards you.
Anticipation is almost like a reaction, but with a bit more expected things. So work on your improving your reaction time. There are online tests and exercises to maximize your reaction.
So basically, the second mistake is you not practicing enough, because you see all these fancy tricks that people do with dribbling and all that, but you forget about the fundamentals. First touch is the first thing you need to improve if you want to be a good footballer. Third mistake is poor body positioning. This is where the balance comes into play. So you have to learn, if you're killing the ball, to lean your body backwards. Use the defender as a shield. Your body positioning when it comes to first touch is going to determine your exit. If I want to turn this way with my first touch, whether I control it or simply the first time I turn around, I have to lean my body the opposite way that I'm gonna turn. A lot of people calls this a body feint. Yes, it could be considered as a body feint, but more importantly, you're balancing yourself that you're gonna exit to the other way. First, this fools the opposition, it gives you good balance, then it gives you a really good exit. Because if you're leaning body towards where you're gonna turn, now you can't use your standing foot as well as a balance, right? So you wanna be on your standing foot, that you get a lot of balance, so you can turn the other way with extreme power. You can use the defender as a shield behind you, and use it as a balance board to push yourself away, but the standing foot has to be closer to the opposition so you're stronger. And you can also lower it down a little bit. The lower your standing foot is, the lower your center of gravity, which you're gonna have more power on your leg. So make sure you control the ball, push your standing foot towards the opposition so you can get a good balance and more power from your standing foot so they can't push you around as easy. So now we learned all the fundamentals, your anticipation, your focus, your balance. Now we can add stuff to it to make it even better. Basically, either your first touch exit, or you're shielding but you're turning after your shielding, or you simply kill the ball, look for passing options and get yourself into a better position. Before we get to the last part of the video, I want to answer what I asked you at the beginning of the video. What would happen if the first touch is bad and the first pass that you receive during the game? So the reason I say this is gonna set the sequence in the game, and it's also gonna affect how you perform throughout the entire game, because the worst your first touch is, especially if the first ball you receive, you're gonna be down mentally. So your focus will be gone because you're gonna be thinking, okay, am I a bad player? That's the first thing. Then you're gonna invite more pressure from the opposition because they're gonna think you as a weak link. So you wanna avoid this as much as you can. So your first touch, and especially the first touch that you attempt, has to be outstanding, so you kinda scare the opposition. If you're a winger, you receive the ball, and if your first touch is bad, the fullback next time will be on to you because the fullback will think your first touch is terrible. So basically get the first touch right. This is really gonna affect how you perform throughout that game. The secret to a good first touch is confidence. So you have to make the first touch as natural as possible. So it has to be like a natural instinct. So you don't even have to worry about if you're gonna screw up your first touch or not. If you can achieve this, now you're gonna be an excellent player. If you are lacking dribbling, passing, but also first touch, I would forget about everything else. First, fix your first touch, then everything will already come. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please drop a like, subscribe to my channel with the notifications on. Other concern comes with being a good player is you choosing the right position. So I have the perfect video for you, and you can watch that video right here. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.